Hello, hosts and travelers. Welcome to the podcast Hosting Your Home. Each week, around the world, millions of guests stay in other people's homes using the Airbnb platform. Debbie Herder looks for stories that come from these connections. Listen in as we hear stories that teach us the human side of hosting your home.
You are going to croak when you hear this next episode. It is with Greg and Beth Raisman of the Hobbit Hole. Yes, the Hobbit Hole, located in an underground basement, and it's in the thriving heart of the Hawthorne district of Portland. This was the most fun interview in an amazing, amazing place. If you're anywhere close to your computer, go to your computer and pull up our website and look at these pictures of the Hobbit Hole. It is like nothing you've ever seen before. Greg remodeled the apartment using recycled natural materials. The walls are covered and rounded with clay. There's tree roots that are climbing up the walls and reaching across the ceiling. It's not finished yet, but it is imaginative, creative, and utterly fantastic. Look at these pictures and join us as we talk about it. Rob and I really enjoy these podcasts and hope you are as well. It's a communication medium that is very one-way, and we really want to grow past that one-way boundary. You can help us do that by simply going to our website, hostingyourhome.com, and request to join our Facebook group. As more listeners join the Facebook group, it enables valuable conversations, and it also allows Rob and me to reach out to ask your opinions and suggestions for new episodes. Thanks so much. We love thinking of all of you as we publish each episode. That's pretty good. I'll just leave it there. Cool. Okay, Greg, how do I say your last name?
Raisman.
Raisman.
Yep.
Raisin just with an M.
M, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yep.
So we're in the Hawthorne district of Portland, of Southeast Portland, correct?
Yep, 40th and Hawthorne, right off the intersection.
This is so cool.
Well, thanks.
So you have a garden entrance to your new Hobbit Hole.
Yes. Yep. So, and yeah, it looks nice now, but we're just finishing a construction project, so it's not as together as it normally is.
I can totally get that.
But it still looks, I think, reasonably nice.
I'm seeing camellias and this is a forsythia, right?
It's actually winter and summer blooming jasmine.
Very well. This is a huge backyard. Hi there, it's Beth, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Welcome to our house.
Thank you. I'm impressed already. I love yards, and this is just so cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it used to be all done, and now it's a work in progress again.
Well, okay. So the guests will enter this way,
They'll
right?
come in this way. And
through this. They'll have a private entrance. Oh, I see.
So yeah, this used to be a window, and so when we excavated this stairwell, we captured the soil, and the soil's kind of layered. There's topsoil and then clay and then fill. So we separated out all the clay, and then we used it as a building material inside.
Oh, you're going to have to explain that again, because that is. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it's called earthen building, so it's earthen
Oh, really?
construction.
Oh, this is just darling. Look at this. Oh my gosh. So
we passed final inspection today.
Oh, did you? Congratulations.
Thank you. So we for the construction part, we about to start doing the Airbnb permitting.
Okay. We'll talk about that. Okay.
Yeah,
Can I just set my purse here?
This is kind of the centerpiece. So we mounted this 4-foot rounded Douglas fir on the ceiling, and then built this root structure, that you're seeing now that kind of traverses through the place. We built about 100 linear feet. And this is all built out of the soil from our backyard.
So tell me how did you do that? How did you...
Well,
is it clay? Would you call it clay?
Oh yeah, it's clay. Okay. It's earth and clay. It's similar to like folks in Southwest would build adobe. It's a, here it's a little bit different material. It's kind of, in England they call it cob, and it's just made with earth materials. So the way this was made was that the root system was actually drawn in pencil on the ceiling, and then vellum was put up, and then the roots got traced, and that vellum got taken down, used as a template for the plywood. So the base of this is a plywood with a little bit of burlap that's underneath the ply.
Okay.
And then we staple burlap here and here, so kind of create a little tube.
So you probably did all this down first, right? You did it actually in place on the ceiling?
Place, yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and then basically with the soil, what you do is you put it in a big barrel with water, and then you sift out the solids, and what you get is what's called slip. So that's kind of what a lot of potters use is slip. So it's just slip, and then that slip is used for a lot of the various concoctions that you make. So this is stuff what's called straw clay. So it's basically straw that's kind of tossed like a salad with a slip to make it wet and a little malleable. And then with that tube of burlap that we made, we rammed the straw clay inside of it. And because it's burlap, it kind of stretches and undulates and such.
Right.
And then it's finished with a natural plaster, which again, the plaster on the roots here are, again, from the soil from our backyard. So this is actually the color of our soil, just oiled. And it's a mixture of the clay and sand. And then this is another earthen clay. It's one that was purchased, and it's a white clay that's mixed with sand and pigment. And then this curvy wall is another...
Oh, I didn't see the tree trunk. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it's really just this is the trunk, right? This you can read it as you'd like, but the roots come down, and it's just what we did is we curved out all the walls, all the corners.
I love it.
And so this is made with what's called a wattle and daub technique. So we used to have a teepee, and so the teepee poles we reclaimed and made the framework for this is made out of that, and then the straw clay is mostly straw with a little clay. This is about 50-50, so it's a heavier material, and you kind of make it into these like sweet potatoes shaped things, and you weave them around the poles and kind of build the wall up that way. And then the corners are made with a material called cob, and that's even more clay to straw, and then you also add sand. So cob can be really structural. So an 8-inch thick cob wall is structural. So there's like 400-year-old homes made out of cob in England, for example, and it's all sculptable.
I have so many questions. Just for the podcast, I want just to point out this cool little knick-knack shelf you've got here, and another one here with a wood.
That's our teepee poles, actually.
Oh, is that right? And,
yeah, the teepee
and it looks
poles
like
are,
branches.
Yeah, so
there.
we did a lot of reclamation and sustainable design in here throughout the.
Oh, look at the windowsill.
Yeah, so.
Oh, sorry, I kept interrupting you.
No, it's
Oh.
okay. It's a really exciting place. I'm stoked on it. So the windowsills and the trim are all made out of juniper, and juniper is considered a weed species tree in eastern Oregon. There used to be, 1 or 2 juniper trees per hillside because they don't let fires happen naturally for a long time.
Right.
The juniper have just taken over.
Oh.
And so now there's a lot of logging of juniper as a way of forest regeneration in order to let more species variety come in. So it's a really sustainable wood to use, and it smells nice.
So how long have you been working on this?
The project, demolition happened in December.
So what did you have to demolish from your...
Well, this used to be an unfinished basement.
Okay.
And there was like a little storage room so that, there was like shelving around, and there was...
okay.
And we explored what was in the ceiling to make sure that like all the plumbing and everything was going to be feasible before we started building.
Yeah, so everything had to be exposed. There was some random drywall.
Did you put in the
This beam this is the main beam. It just got... It just basically got encapsulated in new wood to make it look nicer.
Oh, pretty dope.
Yeah, you can see it.
How many square feet are down here?
470.
Okay.
So this is...
Oh, look at that. I love it. Oh, how clever.
Yeah, so the branch instead of
Instead of a curtain or a clothes rod.
Yes, this is just a piece of found wood that got kind of trimmed and sealed and then sculpted so that it could, fit it onto the walls and turn into a clothes rod.
And hangers will fit over it, I'm sure. You've already tested that.
Yes. Yeah. So and then we come into the other room here, and so the branches, you kind of make an archway. And you can also, you might notice that there's actually quartz mixed in with this plaster.
I see the sparklies.
So the walls and ceilings kind of sparkle.
Oh, this is lovely.
Thank you. Yeah,
it really is. This will probably be your entertainment center or a china cabinet or something. I'm sure.
Kind of games and books. We're not going to have a TV down here.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Yeah, so. We lived without a TV for 15 years. And this neighborhood, there's, and we kind of think of, this space as being a quieter, contemplative, romantic, sort of a place. This crystal chandelier, will hang here, and it kind of creates almost like a tie-dye effect of rainbows. And it's on a dimmer switch, so you can really get some kind of moodiness down here and stuff. Yeah, let's see. So these cabinets are made by Felling Furniture Studio. It's our friend Jesse who owns that, and as you can see, he really likes curvature. And
as do you.
Yeah. It was really great for the Hobbit hole. It really feels right, and it's made out of
the odd size door, the shape of the doors too. You had to do that custom, I'm sure.
Well, this door is a reclaimed door out of a burnt church, actually. Yeah, all the woodwork and stuff is all. We used JRA Green Builders, and our friend that we've been friends with for a long time is a lead builder. Really amazing carpenter as well. So Felling Furniture Studio did the cabinets, and then the game cabinet, which again uses our teepee poles.
Boy, those poles came in handy, didn't they?
Yeah, they're 24 feet long, and it was an 18-foot in diameter teepee. So we actually have more poles left.
So this is a nice sized kitchen too.
No stove, it's a kitchenette.
Okay.
We'll have a microwave there. And then a toaster oven and a coffee maker and a hot water pot. It's kind of going to be the storage for now. All the shelves aren't installed yet, as the poles aren't installed either. But the shelves actually slide out.
Well, I feel very fortunate to see it at this stage before it's quite done. This is very. Who is the genius behind this? Who's the architect? How did this?
So I'm kind of the creative director. It's my concept.
Is it?
I do a lot of stuff around town. The big street paintings and all the intersections. So I've worked on all of those except for one. So I've worked on 50 street paintings. So, that community has a lot of natural building. It's kind of that kind of community is focused on kind of placemaking, community building, and natural building. Just through my network, I was able to kind of build a team. So the architect was Communitecture, and they largely helped us with the layout and actually drew the root system. So I was really brainstorming ideas that wanting to really take advantage of being underground and take advantage of the fact that our ceilings aren't totally full height.
How high are these ceilings?
With the roots and everything, we think that you're, 6'2", you're pretty comfy in here. You start getting 6'3", and you start needing to duck some places.
Okay.
But in terms of not every place, I think the ceiling itself is, we had someone here 6'4", and he was standing straight up.
Okay.
7-footer wouldn't fit down here. So I think the ceilings are almost 7 feet. Those two challenges can, be seen as negatives in terms of being short height, and I think there's a lot of ideas that you can do, especially when you start to think of the space as a sculpture. Is it a cave? Is it a Flintstones house? Is it a Hobbit hole? And really went through some ideas with the architect, and this one wound up being practical. So,
and are you a fan of the books and the movies?
Honestly, I've never read them.
Oh my God!
I am working my way through the Cliff Notes. Yeah, I don't read a lot of fiction. And so...
you should at least go see a couple of the movies so you can get a picture of
Yeah.
Gollum or Rings or something,
Yeah, I've been really searching because I think what would be really kind of funny would be to find images of the different characters that kind of look like family photos. With little frames,
that would be awesome.
Set them out,
Yeah.
but all of them, they look like, they're on an adventure and they're scary.
Yeah.
And there's none of them like at a picnic with their friends. So I'm on the lookout if you see
I will keep an eye out.
Hobbit family photos.
Yeah.
Our friend Don, who's the lead builder, made our
Oh, look at that.
So it's, he's got a little bit of work
People
to-
are going to be so jazzed to see your pictures. This is just so incredible.
So this bathroom is a wet bathroom.
Oh, I like it.
So it's basically a shower with a toilet in it, or a bathroom with a shower in it.
Yeah.
Sort of a European approach
Yes.
to a bathroom. It'd be a lot more space efficient because you're not dealing with it. So the whole floor is the pan.
Was this difficult to drain the whole space here?
Well, I mean, for the professionals, it wasn't. Basically what happened is, holes had to be cut for plumbing anyway. And so even if we were doing kind of a normal setup, you still need to drain your shower.
Yeah.
The bathroom hole wound up being bigger because the whole floor got cut out. But then, the drain pipe had to get routed that way. So there's a big trench.
Okay.
There's another trench on the other side of the floor.
Boy, this is almost wheelchair accessible too, the way you've got it.
This
bad
would
for those
be
steps,
the getting down here is definitely not. So building an ADA ramp down this far. I actually looked at
That
it.
would be tough.
And I had a design concept that would have made it work, but it was just too much.
Yeah,
We'd have to start ramping outside. For the side
A
of the
lift
house.
is probably the only thing that you could do.
What's that?
A lift.
No, I could have ramped it, but it would have been a really weird one.
Yeah.
I would start from the outside on the side of the house, start ramping down with a little retaining wall, and then enter a little bit lower so that you're already down some by the time you enter into the building.
And I love your little details here. I mean, it's just so you're keeping the theme going in such a cool way. Is that you, Beth, finding the little wood soap dispenser?
I had to buy that. I've been trying to control myself and not buy too many weird little kitschy things as I see them, but I like to go through.
It's hard to stop yourself.
Yeah, it's like modern Hobbit chic.
Yes, the whole world is your oyster at this point, right?
Yeah.
You can just do anything, and what you've done is just really cool.
Thanks, we're really excited about it.
So you'll sleep how many down here?
Well, that's a queen size bed in there. That'll be memory foam, and then this is a queen size sofa bed, and it's got a memory foam mattress on it as well, up to 4. Yeah, I think 2 is pretty comfortable down here for an overnight stay. I think 4 is great. When the bed's open, it's
right. Take up a lot of floor space.
Takes up some floor space in here. So have a little table over there, and trying to figure out if we're gonna have how we're gonna have another chair.
Yeah.
Now, are you connected at all upstairs to downstairs? Or you
through that door.
Okay.
The magic of the Hobbit hole disappears beyond that door, though.
Oh, is that right?
Looks like a basement.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see.
So will you have laundry facilities for people? It looks like that storage back.
Yeah, so right now it's kind of figuring out. I'm about to do the permitting process, and then for Airbnb, that's our permit for the place itself, and then which we got today, so I'm kind of excited about it.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna have to figure out kind of pricing and stuff like that. It's kind of a unique space, and in a really great location. So I was talking to the guy at the last meetup that had the fire tower. And I thought his advice was great. It's kind of price it for the customer you want. Got to figure out what that means.
Right. Well, before we get into that, what about your Airbnb permitting staff?
I'm about to start that.
Do you have a photographer? Of course, you're not quite ready for that. You want to get it all decked out first.
Yeah, I actually wrote already to them and have one assigned. And I let them know that, hey, it turns out that we're a little behind here, so it's not a couple of weeks. So
Airbnb you wrote to, or who did you write to?
For the photographer, yeah.
Oh, for the photographer.
So I'm getting the photographer through them.
Yeah.
It's a really hard space to photograph. I'm a photographer, and
you are?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it yourself?
I don't have the right equipment. You know, the really hard thing about this space is it's got this really big, cool ceiling feature and really short ceilings. Mm-hmm. Getting enough of it and at the right angle so you can see that it's not a painting, that it's actually a sculpture with enough depth and then not too much distortion and all that kind of stuff. It's actually a pretty hard thing to, like, I'm looking forward to a real professional.
Yeah.
I've been published a lot of times, but really more for street photography than architectural photography, so it's just not my thing. And I want to see, cool pictures of it. So.
Right. You want to show it off to its advantage. And I did notice that the pictures that I saw that you sent me when we first started talking were a little dark. And plus you were still in the middle of your construction, so... Oh, yeah. No wonder.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying my best with the work lights to set them up, but, they're so harsh. So. Do you want to sit down? Or?
Sure. Let's sit for a couple minutes. So sounds like you already know about the printing stuff, so I don't know that we... or do you have any questions about that?
Well, I don't really know about it yet, but I'm not worried about it either.
Okay.
It seems like there's a web page. You go and read it and fill some forms out.
Yeah.
And then you go tell your neighbors about it.
Right.
And you give them a couple $100.
Yeah, that's about it.
And I'll find out, do I need another inspection? Here's my one from today.
You'll need to have the fire alarms, the interconnecting.
Oh, they're totally wired already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where? Oh, is that it? No, that's your...
No, that's a fixture. It's actually between those two roots over there. Yeah.
Doesn't look for the right route.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, great.
Wouldn't have passed inspection today without them. Actually, they have to be. Yeah, I mean, the inspection process for the construction is a lot more intensive. I'll just ask,
So, as you came up with the idea to have a Hobbit hole, and then did you start researching the different kind of materials to use, or is this done by your consultants?
No, I've been involved with the street painting project for 15 years.
Which is using a lot of natural resources, right?
Well, street paintings are latex paint, but that community does a lot of natural building. So I've seen a lot of really creative use of natural materials. And there's some stuff around town that you probably with like People's Food Co-op. The whole facade of that is made out of earth. I've been exposed to it enough, and I'm a fairly creative person. I work for the city, and I do a lot of work on big construction projects in the roadways. My contractor first said, you're going to get burnt out from this. And I was like, the only difference with this and what I usually do is it's my own money. Which, is harder from my own bank account, of course. But it also meant that I had total freedom and flexibility, and I didn't have to have any public meetings or get anyone's permission other than keeping my wife happy.
Oh my goodness.
And so I'm really lucky that she said yes, and both when we got married and also to this project, and just kept having trust. And I think, it's an expensive project.
Do you mind telling me how much this cost you to do?
About $120.
It's going to take more than a year to pay that off.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a 10-year payback.
Yeah. But I'm sure it will happen.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about that. When you take out a home equity loan, it's an interest-only payment. So the required payments are actually really low.
Okay.
You get to choose how much principal you're paying down. We don't have to rent it, honestly, more than a couple nights a month to just make the basic payment.
Good.
Right now it's sort of deciding how we want to manage it in terms of how passive we want it to be. How much of the work do we want to hire out? Some of the companies out there, of course, do everything. And we might start out that way just because, Beth's just starting the school year and she teaches Head Start. Today I just finished $6 million in grants. Last weekend I was on an investigation of a very serious crash. But yeah, so I can have really intensive weeks.
Yeah.
I think Airbnb, I'm excited about it for a few reasons. One is, I guess there's sort of personal reasons and kind of mission reasons. I guess the personal reasons are that it gave me the flexibility to do this really cool project, and it was really fun to kind of direct a sculpture and create a place in our house that a sculpture we can hang out in. We live in a really great location, and we just added quite a bit of value to our home. And so that's good for long term. It's a part of our retirement plan and all that kind of stuff. And then in terms of mission, there's a few things. One is I love Portland, and we're really lucky to live in kind of an idyllic Portland spot. It's a place where most tourists that come to our city walk by our home at some point.
I believe that.
And so to be able to offer a place where you can really experience it and be immersed in it, and I know a lot about the city. I know about its history and how it runs. I help run it.
You help run it in a number of ways, it sounds like, not with the construction and with the...
Well, I don't build stuff, but I wind up on design teams, and I wind up, I have a lot of operations and, stuff like that.
And so an avid bicycle rider, so you're actually out in the streets a lot too, right?
Yeah, and I'm out anyway. I'm a really social person. So I've worked on a lot of stuff around town, but so I know the city really well and things like that. And then just in terms of exposing people to these ideas about really natural, environmentally sustainable approaches to building. Ask yourself really growing questions, and then live with those. So I think just exposing people to these ideas, if they're ever doing a project in their life, they might think about their stay here.
It could be a highly influential place to stay. Yes.
It's So other places have influenced me.
Yeah.
And so and it doesn't this obviously is a huge scale effort, but people make like these really cool bread ovens and pizza ovens in their backyard out of this stuff. You can, it's clay. You can put fire in it. And so, I know someone that's got a pizza oven that looks like a frog, and you put the pizza in the mouth. So little structures too. And it's this group is kind of who started the little free library boxes.
Oh yes.
The first one ever was at one of our intersections.
Really?
Cobb, community kiosks you see around town, and benches and all those kind of things. So there's, the most beautiful one I've ever seen was a bench that was a bird, and its wings kind of spanned out, and great detail and all the feathers and such. But the wings, inside the wings was a bench, and then the bird was looking up, and the belly of the bird was a fire oven, and the smoke went out of its beak. So you can really play. And, I think the more that we think about where we live in our architecture, creative spaces, and as places that push us a little bit, it's just good for us. And I think this way is good. A lot of good practices about how to build this way. Yeah. And it doesn't have to, the reason that my project's so expensive is, first of all, building materials are 30% higher right now. Not just building in Portland, but around the world. There's so much happening in India and China and of course, a lot in our city as well. So building materials are really high, and everybody's really busy. You don't have any negotiating position with tradespeople, your contractors, your sub, any of that kind of stuff, because I know at work we've put projects out to bid, and nobody had the capacity to actually bid on them.
Wow.
We had to wait another year because everybody's so busy. So right now is a really expensive time to build. I have a design idea for a social structure in the backyard, and it's probably going to cost about $10,000. Which
that's the next project. You
can spend that on a shed, right?
Yeah.
So it's the building material itself, when you're building with earth, is free. And a lot of the stuff in here, the materials in here are actually, the trim and stuff, the cork floor, that stuff, these cabinets obviously are, an expensive piece, but these sconces I got at an estate sale for $10 each. The trim inside the bathroom, which is Purple Heart, came off of pallets. Most of the light fixtures here are Rebuilding Center. All the tile work is seconds from Pratt & Larson, so that whole backsplash area is about $70 a tile.
Cool.
So it's really what drove the cost here was the standard sort of construction stuff, and then the fact that we went really sustainable. That has a premium.
That's wonderful, and that's something that you'll want to actually detail in your description too. People want to know that. Yeah, they really care.
Yeah, it's hard to. We have a lot of story to tell about this place, so I think that we'll definitely use captions
and bullets for those who want to scan, because there are those who won't read all of it.
Oh, sure,
too. But
yeah,
the history is, that you've got so much interest in here that it should all be available somewhere.
Yeah.
As you write it up.
Sure. And I think for the folks that scan, they're going to look at the pictures.
Yeah.
And they're going to read the
They'll
captions.
Well, they'll scan for the amenities. They want to know what size the bed is. They want to know if there's an ice maker. They'll want to know if you've got an iron, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So when do you expect to be able to start?
Within a month, I'm thinking. We already met with the accountant. Got to get the paperwork going on the permitting stuff, but we got to get some more furniture. Got to figure out how we're going to set up lamps.
You're super close, yeah.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
So probably by October 1, we'll see the Hobbit Hole online in Airbnb.
And then we got to figure out who our market is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think our customers are families, nerds, geeks. I expect that we'll do really well when the Comic-Con is in town. I think we'll get marijuana tourists. We have 4 head shops within a block of the house. We have a dispensary a block away, or a Hobbit Hole. So I think those will be some of our folks. I'm not really sure who else, but I think we'll do okay with booking.
Choose one for an avatar, the prime guest that you want, and speak to that person when you pull up your description, when you start writing your description, and that will help you. You may want to change it later, but it'll be a lot easier for you if you just focus on one type of personality to speak to.
Yeah. I think within all those folks I just talked about, the personality is somebody that loves cities, that, likes creativity, and that is interested in sustainability.
And might be a young professional.
Yeah, that does those things as well.
Yeah.
This would be a nice place, I think, if you're in town on business, to be able to hang out and do some work, and the table will be important, in terms of thinking about that.
Right. And because it will be a separate space, it'll be listed as private. You can also do the business listing too. If the dog doesn't come down here. If the dog comes down here, then you can't do that, because you can't have a pet in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's probably the only thing that Wi-Fi...
We'll see. I guess with business you get a little more money out of it. Is that what it does?
Well, it actually appeals to a different kind of traveler. So the business traveler that is here for business can rely on certain things. And one of those things is that they have 24/7 access. So they'll have their own key anyway, their own lock, right? So they can come and go as they please. No pets, reliable internet. Oh, whole house. So it's not a shared space.
And what's good about that for me?
Oh, it brings in the business customers who come in midweek, stay longer times. They're easy.
Another customer.
Yeah, really. And if you fill up, regardless, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I like business customers. Those guests are really easy to please, and
cool.
I have, they're gone all day generally, and back at night we're real quiet, and it's not an issue.
Cool.
Yeah,
that sounds
works
nice.
out well.
Yeah, that sounds
and
good.
frequently just one person too, so that's also kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good. I think the thing that I want to avoid is, pricing myself so high or setting expectations so high that, I get people maybe a little bit more detailed complaining,
well,
higher expectation.
You talk to the right person when you talk to Alan about that. And what Airbnb will tell you, or what they suggest in all of their literature, is that you start out fairly low. You start out low because you want to get the customers in, you want to get the guests in, you want to get the reviews. Once you get your reviews up to a certain point, then you can raise your rates a little bit, and then you start probably not paying so much attention to what their suggested rates are. And I can see that would be the case for you, because you have such a unique space here. It's going to be very, very popular. But still, the first 5, 6, 7, 8 reviews, just, that person is going to be lucky to be able to stay here. Then you're going to be getting started, and then you'll find your own comfort level with that. And the other thing to do that you can do, I was thinking about this earlier, I do this, is I look at the local hotel in my area and see how they change their prices for the seasons and the holidays, and then I I rate mine accordingly, just under that. But this is no competition with anything. So, I don't think that even applies for you. Do you even have hotels in this area?
No.
So there's no...
No, there's only Airbnb in the neighborhood.
Wow.
Downtown is the closest place to get hotels, and the woman from Airbnb that was at our meeting was saying that those hotel rooms are $300 to $400 a night at the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
That's not my customer.
No. No, and Alan charges $175 for his treehouse. And I talked to him about having so much business that they're booked out for the next 2 years. And I suggested to him that he might want to raise the prices. And he said, no, because I want a certain kind of people.
Right.
And this keeps me in that range.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yep.
No,
it's great advice when I talked to him about that. I mean, I am, thinking a little bit about, what's the base price and then what's the add-on per person. Because...
Oh, do it that way?
Yeah, because the reality is, more people means this bed gets pulled out, needs to be aired out, made, taken down, more laundry, more likelihood of wear and tear just because there's more people in the place, that kind of stuff. So I do prefer 2 people down here, but obviously we got enough space created just because we chose to have this sofa bed.
Yeah, but you still might want to just keep it for 2 for a while and test it out, see how that feels. And maybe 2 with an infant. You've got certainly lots of floor space for a pack and play or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I always recommend starting out a little gently, and then you can try gradually someone that you really like that sounds like you're really going to click with them. Okay, those 4 people can come and we'll try that. And just kind of ease into it and see how that feels.
Yeah. Have you been in a space like this one doing this podcast? Are there other ones that are kind of creative like this, or
no?
Or do you know anybody that's doing
the tattoo lady. Did you listen to that one?
Lady. Yeah.
That was very interesting and different. Most of the people that I've talked with have a regular Craftsman style house. Is this Craftsman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they've got maybe 1 or 2 bedrooms upstairs that they rent out, and they may have a separate bathroom for the people. So they actually live with them. That's a lot of the people. That's kind of the more norm for Airbnb. And then there are the ADU kind of people. And that's what I would call this, is like an ADU because it's a separate space. And the tattoo lady has a separate space because she's blocked that space off from the tattoo parlor in the front. So the back part of it is the
living arrangement.
Right. Yeah, and that's really interesting.
I did Google her spouse's tattoos.
Fascinating, aren't they?
Good, huh?
They're very good, yeah.
Like paintings.
Yeah, they are like paintings. And they've got paintings all over the walls that he's done of those tattoos, too. Yeah, it's a really interesting place to go.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, this place doesn't have a lot of wall space for art.
It has space for other... I wouldn't, I'd be very careful not to...
trust me.
Yeah. Because it's just so amazing the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the mirror. That was something that around the corner there, it's kind of really scrolly and gold. And, that, that's a magic mirror.
Yes.
It belongs in the Hobbit hole. It's right.
Oh, I remember what it was I wanted to talk to you about. And that's the more practical stuff of cleaning and just doing the day-to-day stuff. And you had mentioned maybe having it managed.
Yeah.
I know of 2 or 3 people that have built little companies out of managing Airbnbs for people that I could recommend to you.
Great.
Really wonderful people. The problem with doing that is it's nice to have hands-on to know what's going on, to be able to follow your calendars, maybe know a little bit about the people coming in. So, I'm just wondering if maybe some kind of a mix of things would work for you first.
That's really what I'm thinking. I mean, what I'm thinking is that I would deal with, reservations and responding to questions, and then hire out the logistics. Because I'm always at a computer. I can I'm a fast typer.
Oh, that would be perfect.
So then I can do that. Usually, especially during the school year, we're just not around in the daytime. So, in terms of greeting somebody or, if they have any needs or, those kind of things, or even, okay, we got, because I think, there are going to be at least parts of the year, months of the year where we're just booked.
Right.
And so that turnover period, we can't be around for. So, and, the idea of just being realistic about, the increase in laundry and all that stuff, I'd rather keep it more passive and make a little less money, but stay a little more sane.
And there's a couple of options around that. One is to do your own laundry and have multiple sets so that you can have turnarounds.
Sure.
Or you can hire that out to the company that you choose to work with too.
Right.
I do my own laundry, but I've got 3 backup sets because we go a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not there. I don't do any of the cleaning, and that all gets passed through. So you charge the cleaning fee, and it just goes directly to the people that take care of it.
So how much do you charge for cleaning?
We have what
would you recommend about this kind of thing?
This would probably maybe 40, 45, 50, something like that.
Great.
And that would be including the laundry, because if you do your own laundry, if you do the laundry and your cleaning service doesn't, then I would charge a little bit less. But if you have them do the laundry, they will tell you what they would expect from this, and I would guess that it would be a minimum of 50.
Mm-hmm.
So people are okay with paying that, especially for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who is able to get this is going to feel fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the people who get to go to Ellen's and Dabney's firehouse, they're so happy to be there that they don't care what they're paying. They're just really happy that they got in.
Right. Well, that's great. Yeah, that's good. That's what we wanted to create.
I think that's the way you're going to be.
Uh-huh.
So, as things move, you'll probably want to keep in touch with Alan so that you can find out how Dabney works the calendar, because that's a real pain in the patouche for him.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it sounds like he has a lot of emails. If I start getting that way, then I might wind up needing some help.
Yeah. Right, because then you have to weed through all those people. And we used one company when we went to Paris. Last year we went to the Open, and we had one of these ladies here take care of our beach properties while we were gone. They did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Long distance even. So, is there anything that you would like for our listeners to know about you? Anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to bring up?
No, I mean, I guess I'm just really interested in the community. I look at our whole city as a way of social interaction and breaking social isolation and all these things. And, this idea of a community that Airbnb creates is part of why I like it. Mm-hmm. And it's, even being a part of the Facebook group, it's great. It's a nice group. It's, people look at it like really, it's amazing the proportion of hosts that actually see every post. Like if you look at the number of seen bys and you look at the number of people in the group, the capture rate is incredible.
Yeah.
When folks ask a question, I think the answers, I've been working on difficult customer service stuff for a long time, much more difficult than what you deal with Airbnb. And I gotta say, the advice that I see in that group is just phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear about, effective communication, gentle and nonviolent communication, and really thinking about how, and I guess the rating system itself, kind of how that drives quality, is really nice. My experience, I know there'll be challenges, and I can imagine what some of those are. Time and constant change, and gosh, if I want to hang out in my backyard and, drink some beers or whatever with my friends, like, how does that work? That kind of stuff. But we're not advertising our backyard as Airbnb space. We're not probably even going to mention it. Folks can ask, and we'll probably say, sure, we've created this space. It's a really special space where we want to host people. And it's not that we're courting them off or something, but this is really where we want their focus while they're our guest.
Yeah. Well, I think that you will get what you want. That's the way this game works. Whoever you advertise for, whatever your target market is, whatever kind of people you want, those are the people that will be drawn to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think that's always, I think the whole law of attraction works really well,
nice.
Especially with this.
Oh, cool.
So thank you very much for letting me come and see and explore and
one more question.
Yeah.
Just in terms of furniture, because right now is the great time to talk about that question. Mm-hmm. What does this room want? Like, what do people that stay in an Airbnb, like, what is the furniture they would expect in this room?
Well, let's see. You need a table, coffee table or end tables, more light. You'll need to have more light. Yeah. You will have your chandelier and your permanent eating place here. If you had a very small overstuffed chair, that would be nice, so that you can have a conversation this way, right? I wouldn't have anything big. Maybe a rocker. I wouldn't do a recliner. Something small and feminine, because you've got a lot of masculine here.
And so yes, I do.
Yes. So it would be nice to have something a little feminine to offset that a little bit. That would be my thinking.
Debbie just said this place is masculine.
Cool, huh? During our conversation, Greg asked me about other episodes that we've done with people who had especially creative Airbnbs. After the fact, I remembered some more, and I just wanted to point them out, that they are Ashley Kern with the Tattooed Parlor. She was episode 13 of No Hope, No Fear was the title of hers. Ellen and Dabney in episode 11, Hear the Wind Give Voice to the Trees. Those are the two with the amazing 40-foot fire station. And then April Brenneman is in a heartwarming episode number 3 of Josh's Treehouse. Well, so Greg says that he expects to be able to start taking reservations in October. I'd give him a little bit longer than that, because it always takes a little bit longer than you think it's going to. But pretty soon the Hobbit Hole will be open for reservations. And you should at this point have at least a mental image of what's going on in this little apartment. I highly, highly suggest that you go and look at these pictures. They're just amazing. So leave us a note. I'd love to hear from you, and subscribe, from the website there for Rob's announcements of the next episodes, and join us on our closed Facebook group. You can always find us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio and Google Play, and thank you so much for being with us. This is really fun to do and fun to have you along. See you next time. Take care.